Hello all and welcome back to another wonderful video. Today I am here in Ponytown to talk about 5 things that you should never do in Ponytown. That's right, these are 5 sort of unspoken rules of Ponytown, things that you should never do because, well, you just shouldn't do them. They're bad. You shouldn't do them. So let's go on with this list. But before we do that, I would sure as hell appreciate it if you would subscribe and like this video and do things like that, because I'm trying to get to 4,000. We're so close to 4,000. We're like 10 people away from 4,000. And I also am opening a Minecraft time capsule when I reach 8,008. So if we can get to that goal by the end of the month or by the end of next month, that'd be freaking epic. And we'd be able to go in there and see what weird things we put in that Minecraft time capsule. But anyway, on to the list. Let's start with number 1. The first thing on the list is inviting random people. That's right, you should never go to the docks like this, for example, and go ahead and click some random person. Let's go ahead and any, mini, money, mo. How about you? We're gonna invite this random person to a party. That's right, it let me invite them. So never do this because they're going to be confused. They're probably going to start saying things in the chat like what the heck is going on and things like that. And it's going to be absolutely hilarious. But never invite people to... See, they already left. They already left the party because they have no idea why they were invited. So just never do this because it's a really bothering thing. It's like you just invite someone to a random party. It's okay if you do it by accident, obviously, and that tends to happen, but never just go to a random person, invite them to a party, and just follow it up with literally nothing. You have to talk to them and give them a reason to join your party before you invite them, because otherwise they're going to be very confused and they're not going to understand what's going on because, well, how would you know what's going on? So that's kind of the first rule, and it's not really the worst thing ever, but let's move on to number 2, which is more awful. Now, the second one is randomly critiquing people's characters, randomly critiquing their OCs and things like that. Basically, don't just go up to some random person like this and then say something like, "That's too much red." Never do this. Never do that. Literally never go up to someone and just randomly critique their OC by saying, "Oh, that's too much red," or "Oh, this, that," or whatever like that. You know, never do that, because that is just a really horrible thing. Just never do that, because, you know, you can really hurt someone's feelings. Like, you can legit, like, really hurt someone's feelings, and this person's not responding because they're probably AFK. I mean, it does say busy, but still, you get my point. Never randomly critique people's OCs, because that's just a really rude thing to do. You know, they're not looking for criticism. They're not looking for, you know, your input or anything like that. It's just a really rude thing. I've gotten into this before where people just randomly start roasting Skella by saying this, and that about her and stuff like that. And it's just really annoying and hard to deal with sometimes, especially if you are already dealing with depression, things like that, depression, anxiety, and stuff like that. Especially if you're suffering from that. It's even worse when someone just randomly starts critiquing your OC and stuff like that, because it's like so unwarranted and so unwanted. It's very invasive, I guess, is a way to put it. But let's move on to number 3. Now, number 3 is another thing similar to the party thing where you just randomly send a friend request. Never do this. Never randomly send a friend request. Never just go up to someone. Let's say this person right here, Amber Acorn. That's right. You're going to my friends list now. Oh, I can't send a friend request. But never randomly send a friend request to someone, because you don't know that person. You're not friends with that person, and they're not friends with you, because you've never even said a word to them. It's just such a weird thing to do, for one, but also just never do it, because it's, again, a little bit of an invasive thing in a way. It's really horrible. Don't just randomly send friend requests. There's a reason why people turn it off, like that person had it turned off. Just don't send random friend requests. If you want to be friends with someone, sit down, talk with them, have a nice chat, and then, you know, if you feel like you've connected in some way, then send a friend request, or wait for them to send a friend request during that conversation yourself. But never be, you know, scared to send a friend request. Just make sure you're talking to them and having an actual conversation, you know. Make sure you're interacting with them to some degree before you send a friend request, because sending a random friend request is so unwanted. No one wants to just have a random friend that they're literally never going to talk to or never mention or ever see ever again. It's just an annoying thing, especially when you look at the fact that your friends list is limited. You only have X amount of friend slots. So that's another reason why you should never do that. This next one will have to make me switch to birthmark. That's right, we're gonna have to switch to birthmark for this one. But this one essentially is, don't just do this. Don't just flash your horn on and off, on and off, on and off, and on and off. Can't really see it that well because it's day right now, but during night, if you flash your horn on and off, on and off, on and off, back and forth like that, it creates this weird flashing effect, and flashing is a really big no-no. Never randomly do like flashing stuff in Ponytown. Never randomly, you know, spam click your horn on and off, and things like that, because if someone is prone to seizures, or if there's some kind of other issue like that where they can't see flashing lights, or they, you know, it's just really bothering to the eye, I guess. It's very distracting, even if there isn't someone with epilepsy playing the game or anything like that. Now, of course, if someone is playing and they have epilepsy, then you could argue that it's their fault because they have epilepsy and they shouldn't be playing video games at all. But Ponytown doesn't really have any issues of, like, you know, being too bad for that stuff. Someone has randomly given me an item for some reason. That's another thing. I guess that's not really a bad thing. I'll accept it anyway. But yeah, never randomly give someone an item, I guess. I mean, I guess you should, because that's a really nice thing to do. But anyway, with number 4, do not do random flashing lights, and do not use a quote-unquote eye-bleeding OC. Now, an eye-bleeding OC is something that has tons and tons of really bright colors all over it, like it's completely covered in like bright colorful characters. Never use one of those characters, and never use flashing lights on your character. Never flash lights intentionally in the game, because it's a very rude thing to do. It's very annoying, it's very distracting, and if someone happens to have epilepsy, then it is very dangerous for them. There was actually a change at some point, I don't remember when this change happened, but it was a very old change where they actually changed the animation for the horn glow and stuff like that, where it sort of fades in instead of just immediately switching on, because of that issue. Now, you can still kind of do it to some degree, but never as bad as you could before. So it's something that Ponytown has, you know, literally changed part of the game to stop. So it's definitely something you should never do. So I'm not saying never use your horn, but don't just flash it on and off, on and off. And yeah, let's move on to this 5th and last thing. Yes, that's right. This 5th and last thing is a very annoying thing, and we can do this to literally anyone. How about we ruin this person's day? Never cover someone up. Okay, they ran away. Let's find someone else and ruin their day instead. Never randomly go up to someone like this and just completely cover them up, because that is very rude and annoying. You wouldn't want someone just covering you up in real life, and this is kind of the Ponytown equivalent. Never go up to someone and just completely cover them up like this, because it's really annoying and people are going to hate you for it, and you're going to kind of ruin their day a little bit. Like I mentioned before, you're just going to kind of ruin their day a little bit. So never just go up to a random person and cover them up. Most of the time, the person's just going to leave like that anyway. But never do it, because it's very annoying and it's invasive, and it's really annoying. See, they moved back to their spot when I moved, because I got up in their space. I got up in their personal space. Give everyone personal space. You know, something like this where this person's like really close to this person, that would be fine, obviously, but never cover someone up. Now, another thing that sort of goes in with this is a little bit of a side thing that sort of combines with it, is do not cover up objects that people are going to want to pick up or interact with. For example, there is a fruit box over here. If I go over to this fruit box, I actually can't cover this fruit box up because of the thing. But never cover up something that people are going to want to use, such as the fruit box, such as, well, let's go down here and I can show you. There is a little toolbox here. Never cover up something like this where people might interact with this or want to interact with it. You know, if you're in the caves, never cover up like the ropes. You know, try not to cover up certain things, because people might want to, you know, interact with that. Don't cover up certain things that people might want to interact with, and don't cover up people themselves. Even if they're AFK like that, never cover them up, because it's a really annoying thing. And yeah. That is pretty much all I have for you here. There is not much else really to say. I do hope that you enjoyed the video. I do hope that you kind of take these and kind of, you know, never doing these things, like don't do these things. And if you guys have any things that, you know, you think are unspoken rules, things that should never be done in Ponytown, then let me know in the comments below, because I'd be very interested in seeing what else you think should never be done in Ponytown. Yeah, that does it for the video. I do hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and doing all those wonderful things like that, because when you do those wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become wonderful yourself, and I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful.